player, Hyun. Now I gotta tab out and close bets here real quick. One thing to dispel, because I see some people misinformationing in chat real quick, you need to understand we split the sub goal, or the sub money 50-50 with Twitch. In some regards that's kind of sucks, and people have asked, like, you know, would you prefer a $5 donation or a sub? And 9 times out of 10, I will say a sub. Because you get so much more on Twitch for it. It works towards extending your broadcaster, like, I guess, prowess, so to speak. Plus the fact that it helps support the channel in multiple ways. And again, guys, all our money from subs to date has not been spent on myself or Zombie Grub or food or nothing. It's all gone towards events, more show matches, and what have you. And that's what I'm looking forward to doing, having reached this crazy milestone of 300. So, yeah, like I said, that's almost enough to do like one event per week, one show match series per week, or like a couple of big ones, or through like a tournament. I think, though, I've got a pretty good idea of what I want to do. I can't tell you guys, though. But I'll tell you it has something to do with barcodes, okay? Let's just leave it at that. That's the next big project we're working on. We were talking about it before, but we didn't have the funds for it. But I think with these subs, it might be more and more viable. And either way, don't take anything out of that. It's just an idea that me and I reached out to Farside, the guy who single-handedly ran IEM and WCS America qualifiers, because he's like the one admin I would trust to do something as crazy as what I'm thinking. And he's down, so we just got to get the money for it, guys. Either way, that's not important, because right now it's the season finals of the ZOTAC Cup. And what's really important to hear is there's 2,500 euro, let me rephrase that, on the line. And what's crazy about that is first place will get 1,200 euro. Now, granted, what's happening today and tomorrow are the group stages. These determine who go on to what is essentially the quarterfinals, so to speak. But yeah, there's a lot of money up for grabs here. There's no tournament that's like a weekly tournament that sponsors this. The monthly finals for Gopher StarCraft is like 600 bucks. The monthly finals for ZOTACs in the past have been 800. Kaspersky Arenas were 1,000 euro. Nothing has been 2,400 as far as these weekly cups go. So I am very excited to see who's going to be able to be the crowned champion. Now, what's actually kind of cool, just dialing this back, taking the hype down for a moment, we haven't seen Hyun in a long time when it comes to ZOTAC. A big part of this was he started training up for WCS. He wanted to win a DreamHack, and he did go on to win a DreamHack. He stopped winning every single weekly cup. I'm dead serious. If you don't know about this, guys, go look up the past ZOTAC Cup winners. From Wings of Liberty to Heart of the Swarm, Hyun has more wins than any other player by a large amount. I think almost double or something. It's pretty ridiculous. He fell out for Heart of the Swarm, and when Hyun stopped competing in Heart of the Swarm for ZOTAC Cups, there was no opponent to oppose him, or to oppose Polt, rather, who ended up winning all the cups as a consequence. So Hyun has been missing from this scene for a little bit, and I'm really glad he's back for what is going to be the biggest season finale of any ZOTAC Cup to date. Now, that being said, it's also very possible he doesn't make it through. Unlikely, don't get me wrong, very unlikely, but it's incredibly possible and within the realm of reason that Hyun doesn't even get to compete in this tournament, which would be an absolute bummer, to say the least. But with the potential rematch of Kos or Avatar, even if Hyun doesn't win against Happy here, the loser's bracket is totally viable for either of these players, really. But I have no idea how Kos' series is going to go. Kos' TVP is actually pretty good, so I imagine Kos versus Avatar will probably go in the favor of Kos, and the loser of this will have a match with Kos, so maybe a rematch for one of these guys. Either way, Hyun should get that over out alive. Okay. You know, we saw Happy a little bit, I don't know, flustered against the TVP that we saw earlier, but TVZ has definitely always been a strong suit. Some of my favorite games of Happy, of course, have resulted from Ultrazeme Stronghold and some of the insanity that has ensued from there, but we'll see what ends up happening. He's got the Reapers, he's got the Hellions. I'm surprised he isn't pushing for a little bit of pressure, but I think he's expecting some Lings at his front doorstep. Once he finishes this wall off with a second depot, he'll probably look towards moving out a little bit. He went for a Viking too, worth noting, instead of a Banshee, so he clean up some Overlords. But no, he's actually just going to sit back and play passive. I don't know about this. When you send your Hellions and your Reapers across the map early, sometimes you get a little bit flustered because they don't do a lot. But even if it's like one creep tumor that you kill, even if it's a queen that you snipe off and you can't kill any drones, it ends up being worthwhile in a big way. Because once creep spreads out of control, it's so hard to deal with. We saw a big example of that versus Kos in that last map merry-go-round. Like, Hyun's creep spread just got wildly across the map very quickly. Yeah, you guys who are chastising poor Diablo Melandro. He was one of the first subs. He wasn't like the first month of subs, I don't think, but he was one of the first subs on the channel, and I'll never forget that. Even if he never resubs again a day in his life, I'll always be thankful that he was around. So, you guys, this is the broadcaster saying, don't be a dick to Diablo Melandro. There you go. Anyways, I missed First Blood. I'm sorry, guys, but we did have the SUV picked off, but he replaces it very quickly. Still dancing around the middle of the map. Lots of lings, lots of, well, it's a lot of lings, but there's not that many queens here. There we go. Now getting involved with the fights. Happy back at home, going for Blue Flame. Ooh, but he has to hide this. Okay, so what's really important right now is there's two timings he has to watch for. One is when the Overlord sweeps back into the base, but because he went for the earlier Viking, he guarantees that timing is not going to be something he has to worry about, which is really cool, because now that Viking faster makes a lot of sense to me. That being said, the second timing he has to worry about is when Blue Flame finishes. If he's in the middle of a fight, in the middle of the map with Zerglings, and that Blue Flame finishes and he reveals this, then all of his plans are for naught. Roaches might be on the way, and Hellions aren't going to deal with the Roaches too effectively, but the idea is you run past the Roaches, you go to the mineral line, you just fry 40 drones before anyone can respond. And one of the biggest things about this is it's so easy to shut down. One extra evolution chamber and Hyun is set. Nothing breaks through that wall. Queens won't cut it, Roaches won't cut it. Happy looking to just move on with that brute force. Now, the problem is with all these Roaches, he has to be careful. Normally you segment 3 Hellions and that's the perfect number, but has Hyun read into this? Seeing this many Hellions, there's no reason to have this many Hellions other than Blue Flame. He's not going to put down the evolution chamber. Happy's going to try and run around the army. The Roaches will intercept, but trying to find an opening. Again, this is kind of why you split your forces usually. Roaches from the south side can also catch him a little off guard. Blue Flame is complete, but looks like it's going to be used to no avail. Splash damage on top of the Roaches actually ends up working out pretty decently, but there's too many Roaches is the problem. Forced to disengage, Hyun now on 1-1. And let's not forget, guys, this is 1-1 with his ranged weapons, not with his melee weapons. So as he transitions into the mid-game for this Roach Hydra composition, Happy doesn't have an army that can deal with this. He's going mech behind it, granted. Some tanks will be on the way, but they're not ready yet. There's but a single bunker and a non-complete wall to keep these Roaches back. Oh, God. Tank does come out on the high ground, but Roaches can just move on top of it if he loses his position here. He has to hold the line. Bunker goes down like nobody's business, though, and this tank is not in range of anything. The Hellions tried to get around the map while this was happening, but it's caused no real damage. And for Happy, this was a really bold move, but just didn't work out in the end. Good game is called. Ladies and gentlemen, Hyun will take game number 1 in this best of 3.